I just heard a very interesting idea this morning about the Parsha, Parshas Beha'aloscha, that the pasuk says at the very beginning of the Parsha that Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, "Speak to Aaron and say to him, when you kindle the lamps toward the face of the menorah, shall the 7 lamps cast light." That when you are Beha'aloscha haneros, right, when you are kindling the lights of the menorah, you have to make sure it's facing a certain way. So a question one could ask is, what is the Torah doing right now telling us about Aaron's job to light the menorah? Why is that relevant? What does it have to do with anything? It seems a little bit perhaps out of place. At the end of last week's Parsha, we went on for a very long time about all the different offerings that the tribes, that the princes brought, the different princes brought, and now we suddenly get into talking about the menorah. What's the deal with that? Why is that the case? So Rashi has a very interesting comment where he asks this. He says, what does the section about the menorah have to do with the section about all the princes and what they brought in their offerings? And he says, Lefi kishara Aaron chanukas hanesim chalsha daito. When Aaron saw the dedication and the things that the princes all brought, he became very sad and very depressed. Because he wasn't included in them. He was not a part of this dedication ceremony, this bringing of the different offerings that all the princes brought. He was not involved in that. And Amar lo Kadosh Baruch Hu, so God tells him, Hashem tells him, Chayecha, by your life, Shalcha gedola mishalhem. Your lot is greater than theirs, Sha'ata madlik umetiv zaneros, because you will be able to light the menorah. You get to light the candles. What's going on over here? So at first glance, Rashi is just telling us, according to the simple understanding of Rashi, he's telling us that Aaron was a little bit depressed that he wasn't included. Him nor his tribe was included in the previous section of all the bringing of the offerings and everyone who brought those offerings, and he wasn't included in that. And he was depressed by that. He was sad by that. He wanted to be included in that. So God's like telling him, don't worry about it. You have a huge thing as well that is much bigger than that you will be involved in lighting the menorah every single day. That's a big deal. It's a bigger deal, and you don't have to worry about that. So that seems to be the simple understanding. There's a lot of interesting commentaries on that. What's the big deal of Aaron lighting the menorah? What's so comforting about that? Why that specifically? And there's a lot to say on that. But what I wanted to focus on right now is a comment I heard from Rabbi Shmuel Silber quoting the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov says, if you look carefully at the Rashi, he says the point that is coming out is that every human being has their own unique purpose, their own unique mission that is specially designed for them. So when Aaron is looking at the Nesiim, he's looking at the princes and seeing what they're doing, he becomes very depressed because he assumes like maybe this should also be his mission, and he's prevented from doing that mission that they're doing, and therefore he becomes very down and very sad. And the reality is that God says, no, that's not true. Chayecha. On the surface, that word chayecha, by your life, meaning it's like just a way of speaking. Hashem's like, by your life, I promise you that your lot is bigger. But the Baal Shem Tov says, no. Let's look at the chayecha of Rashi, your life, meaning let's look at that literally. So Rashi would then be telling us that Hashem says to him, Chayecha, no, look at your life. Your life. You have to look at what you do and the way I made you and the mission that I assigned you. That's what you need to look at. You'll see, Shalcha gedola mishalhem. Your lot is bigger than theirs. Not that necessarily your job is more important than theirs, like we originally thought. But Shalcha, when you do you, that's way more important than you doing something that someone else should be doing. You have to focus on what you should be doing. And understand that no two people are the same. You have a unique mission, especially designed for yourself. And there's so many lessons to take out of this. But in life, I think so many of us become depressed and sad and downtrodden because we're always comparing ourselves to other people. We're looking at what they have, the type of house they have, the type of car they drive, the job they have, the spouse they have, the family they have, all of that stuff. And we're always comparing. And the reality is, if you want to live a very depressed life and a miserable life, then yeah, compare yourself to others a lot. That would be a smart thing to do. But if you want to live a meaningful life where we can maximize and optimize the potential we have, we just look at ourselves. look at the unique talents and skills and the circumstances that we are into, and then be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. That perhaps is the lesson from the first pasuk of the Parsha. We learn from Aaron. God is telling him, don't worry about them, worry about you. And you'll see amazing, amazing things. Have a beautiful Shabbos.